guys, this is Charles from GuitarSkills.com, back with another video in our series of breaking out of the minor pentatonic box in a musical way. You can find the link to the playlist in the description below. It will take you to all of the other videos that are part of this series. So what did I do there? Well, I took a famous descending blues type of lick like this one. And then I played it in different positions. So it's exactly the same idea played in different places on the guitar neck. So I'd like to encourage you to find a famous blues phrase and then learn how to do it in different positions. So in this case, we're not really connecting different shapes together like we've done in some other licks as part of this series. Instead, we are taking a familiar lick and playing it in different places on the guitar. So the first lick starts off over here, hammering onto the 5th fret on the E. I'm just going to use a slight bend on this C note over here. Now I can do the same thing with pattern 1 here. So nice and slow so you can see what I'm doing. Starting on the 5th fret, 5, 8, 5 on the B, 7, 8, 7, 5 on the G, and then 7 on the D. Then I'm starting on the 10th fret here. Again, it's the A note. And then I'm descending down. And then, well, let's go over the notes there first. I'm going from 8 to 10, 8, 9, 7, 9, 7, 8, 7, 10, 7. And that's how you can find that same phrase all over the guitar neck. So, and then we're going to start with this A over here. Same A again. Instead of going 10, 8, 9, I'm going 10, 12, 9. And then 12, 13, 12, 10 on the D, 12 and A. And then for the last one, starting here from 12 to 14 on the G, just descending down the scale, and then 12, 13, 12, 15, 12. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways to play that same familiar pattern. What you can do is you can take the pattern and then see if you want to start adding other things to it. Something like this. So I'm taking the patterns, the same idea, but then I'm building on it slightly and making some tweaks and changes. Because if you look at a guy like Stevie Ray Vaughan and Eric Clapton, even though they had very famous licks and kind of go-to things that they used a lot, it was never quite played 100% exactly the same, because when they improvised, they would always, that's the nature of the blues and improvising, is taking a familiar concept and then just adding, different takes on that. Now, the reason we do this in this particular lesson is to take a familiar phrase, play it in different places on the neck, and then see what you can do by adding and taking away from that phrase. So that's the first thing I want you to do. Take a familiar phrase, play it in all the different 5 shapes, and see, what you can come up with. And secondly, see how you can take that same phrase and then alter it slightly, because the way that can be really cool is when you start combining different shapes together. So instead of playing this, for example, where I'm playing my C note on the 5th fret of the G going to the 2nd fret of the G, I can actually slide from that C note, which I used to play on the 5th fret of the G, I now play it on the 1st fret of the B. And I can do the same here. So now I need to find a way that I can, change some of these lines around. All right, so let's take that same idea. Let's go to this area, for example. So again, instead of playing the C note on the 10th fret, I'm going to play it on the 5th fret of the G. That's option number 1. Option number 2 is... And you can see the first time I do it, I played 7, 8, 7, and then I picked 10, pulling off to 8. But the second time, I'm picking 7, hammering to 8, pulling off to 7, sliding to 5. That sounds very different to... So now I have 2 ways of playing this line. That way, everything stays in one shape. This way, I'm connecting 2 shapes together. So instead of playing the C on the 15th fret, pulling off to A, I can go... So you get the idea. The concept is to take, again, a familiar pattern and change one note. Instead of playing it in the same shape, go to the next shape. So that's what I've done with that C note, is I moved into the previous shape instead of playing the C note in the same shape. Because here we go. I can play that like that, or I can play it like this. Again. Or in the same shape, or I can go... same shape, or 2 different shapes. And that is a very handy way, again, to give you some options, because this is the thing I find with a lot of my students is they kind of have very limited options when it comes to playing the same line. So really what you want to do is you want to get to a place where you can play the same melodic content, the same lick, the same idea, in different places on the neck using different ways, different notes, different patterns. You're playing the same thing, but you're playing it in a different way. So what does that mean? Well, the same line. Those are 2 different ways in which you can phrase the same thing. And if you start doing this enough times, your brain finds a way to kind of successfully map out the same melodic content in different places on the neck. And now, because you have more opportunities and more ways in which you can play the same thing across the neck, now you're starting to no longer see different patterns, like you're moving from one pattern to the next pattern to the next pattern, but it kind of all becomes one familiar territory where you know, well, if I want that line here, I can play it like that, or I can play the same line over here, same line over there. And as you're starting to map out these different areas of the guitar neck, you'll start to be able to make a bunch of new connections, but it's not connections in a mechanical way, it's making connections in a musical way, because we're starting with a cool melodic phrase or melodic pattern, like a lick in this instance, and then I map that out in different areas of the guitar. Right, guys, really hope you enjoyed this lesson. Again, there's a link to the playlist in the description box below. It'll take you to the rest of the lessons in this series. Really hope you enjoyed this. And remember to subscribe to our channel, hit the bell icon, because then you'll get notifications whenever we release new videos. Right, guys, that's it for this one. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you'd like to get more lessons like this, then you should register for a free GuitarSkills.com membership today. Simply click the link in the description box and you'll get instant access to our private members area. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Comment below and let me know what else you'd like me to cover so I can give you what you need. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel because I'm going to keep these videos coming.